Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Political Vigilante and podcast. So I'm going to start recording the audio on these videos and cutting them together and releasing a weekly audio podcast, and we'll be giving you bonus audio content on the Patreon at the $5 level. You can go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. And we're going to be releasing new episodes on iTunes and, of course, you find folks here at the YouTube. I finally got a new laptop thanks to you guys at the Patreon. You're helping this show grow, and of course, and a little bit of a credit card from the good people at Best Buy. But they were having a sale on Macs. So I want to talk about, there was a hit piece about Nina Turner and Our Revolution that came out in BuzzFeed. So hilarious. Oh, they said wonderful things like the top of the line. They refer to they're basically, they go into Nina Turner's criticism of the DNC and they mock it by putting all of these words in quotes: dictatorial, arrogant, pompous, superficial, tone deaf, tone dead, out of line, insulting, absolutely insulting. These are the words that Nina Turner, president of the group founded by Bernie Sanders to further his political revolution, used in an interview to describe the Democratic National Committee. DNC's really getting it. They're really getting it. They're really waking up, and they're not using their people in the media to spew their, corporate Democrat talking points. They're really. Can you imagine if the Republicans were going after Nina Turner and saying these things? They would cry. They would play the race card. Oh, they're racist. They can't handle a strong woman, and blah blah blah. But Nina Turner is a progressive that threatens the corporate Democrats' money, and they can say these things, right? Oh, Bernie Sanders, she's all out, everything's all out of control, right? And this goes back to, and there's also an article in the Observer.com I'm referring to about how during the 2016 Democratic primaries, Clinton advisor Joel Benison said that if Bernie Sanders wanted more debates, he would have to change his tone. Even though the debates were clearly scheduled to benefit Hillary. Now they're doing this again. There's this tone police. And this is all the DNC has been doing since this election that they lost. They lost to the most beatable candidate ever in Donald Trump. They ran it's a horrible campaign, and they're still blaming progressives. Oh, Nina Turner. It's unbelievable. This is what else that article said. Claims she's taking on the same institutional forces that are allied with Sanders. Okay, well, this is false. Sanders is not aligned with the DNC and the Democratic establishment. He's an independent. He is a registered independent. He became a Democrat just to run in the primary last year, and then as soon as he lost the nomination, or they stole it from him because they cheated, he became an independent again. He's working with the Democrats, but he is not in the Democratic. He's still working with them. Now, you can go into a whole thing of criticizing Bernie. He shouldn't be working them, whatever. As I said, I think he's just afraid of becoming Ralph Nader and becoming completely ostracized and shunned. And he likes being put on committees and stuff like that. Whatever. That's a separate debate, but that's categorically wrong, right? So, and what the piece is trying to do in BuzzFeed, it's obviously trying to divide progressives, trying to turn people against Nina Turner, trying to get people to go, oh, Bernie and Nina are fighting, whatever. It's bullshit. It's high school. It's like nonsense. The article cited an incident in which Turner and several dozen supporters were met with barricades outside the DNC headquarters a few weeks ago when they tried to deliver an Our Revolution petition. I did an article on that. Barricades were set up due to large crowds in the area. The article conveniently omitted that Turner was told to stay outside the barricades when trying to deliver the petition. BuzzFeed also neglected to mention that 1 year ago, the DNC and Clinton campaign banned Turner from introducing Sanders at the Democratic National Convention. Yeah, that's the article from the Observer. That's what BuzzFeed doesn't talk about. The BuzzFeed article just says all this nonsense. And they don't, exactly. Oh, she wasn't allowed to speak at the DNC. That's weird. It didn't talk about that. Here's one of the things they say in the BuzzFeed article. If Sanders is working to change the system from within, Turner's approach at Our Revolution looks to be the opposite. After taking over last month, she's taking on the same institutional forces that are aligned with Sanders, a newly aggressive posture towards the Democratic Party that puts Our Revolution out in front of its own figurehead. It's time to make the Democratic Party feel the burn again, Tina wrote in an email to Our Revolution members on Tuesday. The DNC may think they can continue working behind closed doors, but they will know different when millions of us come knocking. The email recounted the same July 25th visit to the DNC headquarters on Capitol Hill. Right? And this article from BuzzFeed is from this woman, Ruby Kramer, who's a BuzzFeed news reporter. It's unbelievable. A privileged white lady is talking smack about a black woman. Oh, see? And this is the thing I'll give credit to Nina Turner and Bernie Sanders for. They don't play those cards. Bernie Sanders doesn't say people are coming at me because they're anti-Semitic or anything like that. Because it just shows you how they actually are running on policy. They're running on progressive policy. Nina Turner and Bernie Sanders want things different. They want things to be changed. Nina Turner's flat out said in an interview in CNN, the people from my district, my old district in Ohio, don't care about Russia. I speak to people on the streets. They don't give a shit about Russia. They care about drinkable water. They care about jobs. They care about losing their health care. And that's this thing in this dumb BuzzFeed article just completely keeps missing the point. And it just shows you it's more of these corporate Democrats and whatever you want to call them. They're completely, they are tone deaf. Nina Turner's right. They don't know what they're talking. They're just tone deaf. They just think. Look, Nina Turner's starting to get some national attention, so they're going after her. They have to go after her. Tulsi Gabbard gets a little attention. They got to go after her. They look what they did to Bernie. And how can you even call this a democracy when corporations own, run, and control the machines that enable you to vote and count the votes? How? I'll read the last article in the Observer. The last paragraph in the Observer article. The Hitpiece's notion that Sanders is aligned with the Democratic establishment is naive at best. This week, Sanders wrote in an email to supporters about his push for single-payer health care, something the DNC keeps undermining. As I've talked about, Anthony Rendon, a Democratic state senator here in California, killed single-payer here in California. And then they try to go out and blame the nurses union. Oh, those goddamn nurses union. They're almost as bad as public school teachers. Ugh, goddamn nurses union and school teachers just bleeding us dry. We will be taking on the most powerful special interests in the country: Wall Street, the insurance companies, the drug companies, the corporate media, the Republican Party, and the establishment wing of the Democratic Party. That's what Sanders said in his email. Nothing has changed except the Democratic establishment reverting to pushing back against Sanders and his increasingly popular surrogates like Nina Turner. It appears the establishment is feeling the burn from progressives and independents who have grown weary of a DNC and a Democratic establishment that refuses to address the needs and interests of working class, middle class, and low-income voters. Thank you for writing this, Observer. And the DNC is getting the least amount of donations in years, and they're feeling it. And does it make them change? No, it makes them go after people like like Nina Turner. So, more nonsense, but it also shows the upside of this. I will leave you on this note. It shows that the progressive movement and pressure from progressives, they're feeling it. They're not reacting the way we might like, but it doesn't matter. It's all the more reason why we need to start a new party. And the Democrats are going to keep acting the same way. Don't act surprised. There's an old saying, don't go to the hardware store for milk. The DNC is the hardware store. They do not carry milk. They will never carry milk because milk is too fucking progressive for those jackasses. So we're making enough noise that they're feeling it. They can't just, when they start slamming you, that's when you know you're doing something right. Like when mainstream media, Dave Weigel and those guys started slamming Jimmy Dore, that's when I was like, Jimmy, you're doing great. This is the best news you could ever get. So stay vigilant.